I'm a Sunday morning sinner in a white church. On my knees praying till it hurts in the back row with all the other lost souls. I'm a double shot of whiskey in a dive bar, a cowboy looking for a wild card I can take home. For the sun, I'm long gone.
Hello, happy Halloween, and welcome to Choose the Bear. Today is a special episode. I was so excited to have this guest, and I thought, you know what? We're going to do a country week, and we're going to have a special Halloween episode. We've got the really amazing new artist, Allie Colleen, on. She's so fun. Her music is amazing. She's a brilliant songwriter. I was not surprised when she said she has a songwriting degree, which feels like a thing you can only do in Nashville. And it was just so cool to get to talk to her. And so I thought, why not have Marissa Moss on Wednesday? So if you missed that, check out Marissa's amazing episode and then talk to Allie for Halloween. So I hope you enjoy this episode. Like, subscribe. You know where the buttons are. There's a bunch of links to Allie's music and her Instagram and everything in the notes below. And enjoy this really fun episode with Allie. All right, everyone, happy Halloween. It is my first ever special episode, but I was so excited about today's guest. I was like, you know what? Dag nabbit, we're doing a special. I grew up a lot of places, but in Arizona with a mother who loved Johnny Cash and like Patsy Cline, and we listened to Willie Nelson's On the Road Again anytime we got in the car. And so I grew up just loving country music. And there is this new wave of like indie female country artists that I think are some of the most exciting artists that we have in the business right now. And I was really desperate to talk to someone, and shout out to my good friend, Allie Red Horse Young, who was like, I know exactly who you have to talk to. And it is the brilliant, amazing Allie Colleen. She just has this new, yes, I have the vinyl. I do. This new LP.
Trick or treat, you guys. Look at
Rolling
us.
Stone. She's so amazing. Your song, Halos and Horns, it's like stuck in a loop on my head, and I'm obsessed with it.
Good. That's my baby. It needs recognition. Thank you.
It's how is it not everywhere all the time? It's so good.
It's crazy. I think that way about myself all the time. I think that way about my best friends. So like that's the coolest thing about being in Nashville. It's like all my friends are 12 times better than I am, and they're really cool artists. And I'm like, why aren't you taking over the world? But it's good to hear. It's good to hear.
Yes.
Thank you.
Of course. So I like to start by letting my guest describe themselves. So tell everybody, who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, you guys, my name is Allie. I was raised in Oklahoma. I have been in Nashville doing this music thing for a long time. I moved here in 2014 to go to college. I got a degree in songwriting, whatever that means, you guys. Be impressed, be very impressed.
It's very Nashville.
It was so much fun. I recommend it to anyone looking to dilly-dally for 4 years and spend way too much money. Get you a songwriting degree, you guys. 10 out of 10. I've been writing songs since I was like 8 years old. I like to think they've gotten better over time, you guys. I've worked really hard at this for a really long time. And it's just one of the few things that I care about all of the time. You know what I mean? I love music. I love that whole world. So that's kind of who I am as an artist. I've been trying to find my sonic sound here in the world of country music for a long time. Just based off of the music that I was raised on and the music that I love versus the stuff I want to sing about. And then personally, you guys, I'm just, I like to think I'm a cowgirl. I've got horses. If I'm not outside on the water, I'm sad somewhere because I'm not outside on the water. So that's just a little bit about me.
I love it. I love it. I went to third grade in Oklahoma, and when I was like reading your bio, I was like, I've been to Oklahoma a lot. I have never heard of this town. I cannot pronounce the name of this town. Will you please pronounce? Is it Oswego?
Of course. Oh, I love hearing what people think it is, because I do think it gets a rap for being fancy. It's not. It's just Owasso.
Owasso. I don't know where the T came
Owasso.
from.
If you're ever in town, you'll meet some people that call it Owassa, but there's a hard O on the end of it. It's Owasso. It actually means, and forgive me, Oklahoma, for not knowing. I feel like when we say something means something, we tend to favor the Cherokee language, at least in my section of Oklahoma. But it allegedly means Trail's End. So we were the first displacement of the Trail of Tears. So the Trail of Tears ended in Owasso, and then we cultivated and did our thing from there. So that's where I'm from. I'm from Owasso, better known as Tulsa. You guys, just Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's me.
Oh, I love Oklahoma. So I'm not surprised. Well, it's very natural to be able to major in songwriting. But I am not surprised because you wrote all the songs on Sincerely Rolling Stone. You write most of your
Yes, I
music,
did.
and it's so. I find it that is part of why there is this like very sort of young new feeling to it. So can you talk a little bit about like what your inspiration was for the LP? And you have, of course, your new song Back in the Saddle that I'm obsessed with. And just like when
Thank
you're
you.
writing, what are your inspirations? What is the message that you're hoping people get from your music?
So the intention is always different, but I think it's kind of the meat and potatoes of it all, right? So when it comes down to just individual songs, the intention of that song is probably what we started with. Being raised on music and just loving music and writing songs since I was really little. Um, that has been just the main form of communication of my life. I feel like I started writing songs so early because I didn't communicate well as a kid. Um, and I had a really hard time. I had really big emotions. I had really big feelings. The spectrum was hard for me when I was really little. And I didn't communicate well, but I felt like I could sing songs to adults and they not only respected what I was talking about just a little bit more, but they listened. And then it also created a bigger conversation that wasn't about me, right? Because I didn't want the conversation to be about me anyway. I wanted to be understood, but I didn't really want it to be about me. And I think writing songs for people is a really cool way to find right a level of understanding and it never have to be about me. And I think that that's the coolest thing about songwriting. So I'll write a song for somebody and they'll think, man, you really sat down and wrote that about me. And in reality, I'm like, I just told you every insecurity I've ever had about myself and you're sitting here thinking that I was your mirror. That's the coolest thing on the planet. Like, hell yeah. So I think the intention is where a lot of things come from. As far as my sound and like what I was kind of raised on that I care about so much, I have two older siblings. I'm the youngest of three. And we're all still really close in age, but I'm still the youngest. And so I listen to what they listen to. You know what I mean? As we all do as babies. So I listen to what they listen to. So my oldest sister brought in two albums that I think really affected what I want to sound like for the rest of my life. And that was Evanescence. I want to be the Amy Lee of country, like so bad. I just was so obsessed. So I was like, that's a woman right there. That's the craziest, scariest thing I've ever seen. Like, I get it. Like, if anything has made sense why he ate that apple so quickly, it's Amy Lee. Like the definition of a woman. Like, I'm eating the apple. Like, I get it. So I was obsessed with that. And then 3 Days Grace was one of them as well. And just I think again, growing up on that more of I'm just a sensory kid, and so I love country music. But country music, it definitely has narratives, right? It has storylines, but I would not say that it has physical texture. You know what I mean? Not the country music that I grew up on. It was very smooth and it was very a lot of steel and a lot of acoustic guitar. You know what I mean? And then Amy Lee came in here with electric guitars and subs and bass and all of these things, and you could feel it texturally for the first time. So that was kind of the whole intent of that vinyl you keep holding up, the Rolling Stone vinyl, was I wanted to get back to my version of like textured music. So that's also kind of why the vinyls are less commercial stuff like Back in the Saddle and more this is an LP for the people who have followed me for a long time. This one might not get us new followers, but this is for the people who like know me. And so Sincerely really, really means something to me. That whole project, the intent was Allie. Whereas before, I think our first album, the intent was connection with listeners. And the intent of Rolling Stone was to really kind of show people that have spent so much time following my career, just a little bit more of, maybe who Allie is on a personal side. So really proud of Rolling Stone.
I mean, it's amazing, but also that brings up something that I've noticed when I've been watching sort of your career and how you've been building it. It feels very old school. You're doing a lot of gigs, you're connecting with a lot of fans, you're putting out a lot of like songs and musics and short EPs and singles that like are really deeply meaningful, and it doesn't feel like sort of the flashy sort of social media centered sort of PR, but it feels very grassroots. It feels very old school. Is that intentional? Like, what is the path you're trying to chart here?
It's a little intentional. I really have the luxury in the career that I've chosen and this independent world that music has created, that you can do this independently, without maybe being on a label or whatever, has been really special for me because I've had a really, really big struggle with mental health my entire life, like since I was a little kid. Like, and I think that again goes back to the communication thing I was talking about. Like, just I had a really hard time. Um, what my expectation of fitting in is, of doing that, you know what I mean, and feeling comfortable and these kind of things. So I think another big reason is our careers never had that overnight boom. I think for that reason, like I work really hard every day on growing as much as we can every day that is healthy for us, kind of thing,
Yeah.
and maybe not taking on too much. Also, it's always sounds egotistical when I say it, but I think anytime that you are really trying to market a product that you want to really grow over time and receive income from over time, opposed to we'll sell this for 6 months before we have to develop the next product we're going to sell for 6 months, that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I think you have to think that you have an insight to the future, right? You would kind of have to. And we're that special generation age that's right in between getting cell phones when you were 15. So you had 15 years of your life to grow up kind of without them in your hand, and then it's been in my hand since, and I'm about over it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm about
Yes.
over it. And I know kids younger than me who have had a phone in their face their whole life. Like, my nieces and nephews don't know how to experience life without their mom recording them. You know what I mean? Like, they don't even
Yeah.
know what it's like to not have a documented moment of
Yeah.
themselves. So I know that also those generations, they're going towards grassroots. They're going back towards
Yeah.
receiving things on a subscription line instead of having to go out and like search for yourself on what you want to see every day and choose. So with that being said, an overnight boom is not going to help us. Overnight crowds are gone overnight. They find something else. They find somebody new. And if I can make you care about not only me, but my fans want to know how Einstein's doing, my horse, like right now. Like, they're wondering what he's up to. And I'm like, that's so stupid. And I'm like, he's not doing anything new.
He's a
But
horse.
they just care.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
and it's just creating these like true relationships that, like, when you show up to the shows, we have something to talk about. Like, we have rapport and we have all of these things, and it's just as business intended as it is also preserving Allie for who she is and wanting to do this for a really long time and wanting to be safe when she walks to her car and wanting to do all of those things. So a lot of it is just intentional as it is just kind of, it feels necessary.
Yeah. Yeah. I hear this interesting sort of tension because on the one hand, you've been a songwriter your whole life and you sort of can't help it. Like, this is how you communicate, this is what you love. On the other
Yeah.
hand, I can't think I say this all the time. I'm in the nonprofit industry, and I always say the only industry that is more like evil than the nonprofit industry, or the nonprofit industrial complex, as we call it, is the music industry. And the only
Yeah.
segment of that, the worst segment of that, is country music for women. Like, I can't think of a worse place for women career wise than country music. I can't think of anything worse for your mental health than being a woman in country music. How do you, and yet you're here doing that. It's like, you love songwriting, but like, girl, be a barista, like anything else. Like, why are you putting yourself through this? What is that tension like for you? Why have you chosen this industry of all industries?
As I keep getting older, I keep really learning the definition of a masochist every day I grow up. You know what I mean? I'm just like, dang, I might be the embodiment of that. Like on like alphabet cards, like A is for Apple. Like, Allie's for masochist on whatever that flash sheet is for people. Okay, like, I don't know. I also think so. Like, that's the thing about songwriting, and that's the thing about like learning to write is you learn, especially like in the vein of connection, right? And like trying to connect with people. all you learn is to romanticize every bad thing that's ever happened to you. You know what I mean? Like as soon as your heart is broken, your friends are like, "What are we gonna write about? Like how? Like what's the song? Like what are we gonna? What's the song?" And it's like, "What's the song? Can we not? Can we go to a rage room tonight for just a second? We
Mhm.
can write tomorrow, but I need to break something right now. What do you mean?"
Mhm.
So I don't know. There is this big ebb and flow between one, the creation part, and then two, kind of like that underlying thing that we all know is there between just like the industry and females and that old school, however you get to the top kind of female way kind of thing, you know what I mean, here in music. And I will say though, just to I'm not an optimistic person at all. That's never my strong suit. I'm never the one to bring it up. I'm gonna take it down. We gotta talk about these things. I've received more support from um the male industry in Nashville than I've received from the female support in
Mhm.
industry. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
so it's you're gonna find what you're looking for. You know what I mean? So I guess I try not to look for that side because you're right. Like I could get beat up every single day and just kind of broken down between like just the emotional side of this work and what we do and all of those things. But like I said, I've done it my whole life. I love music. I love the 1%. You know what I mean? Like I might hate 90% of my job, but when a 14-year-old girl ends up at my shows who has that same look in her eye that I feel like I did and just wants to connect and wants to communicate and wants to be seen and doesn't know how to do that, and then right in the middle of one of my choruses, she's found out exactly what that feels like. I'll do this for the rest of my life. You can beat the crap out of me. I don't care.
Yeah.
It's so rewarding, you know. And so
Mhm.
all that to say, I know it seems really hard, and it seems like one of the hardest places to be. And you are right about that nonprofit world. That's crazy, but I think you'll always find what you look for. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And in country music, I just look for the people who have lifted me up and have kept me in it as long as I have.
Yeah, yeah. One of the things that I find interesting is when look at sort of the newer generation of female artists like you, like Lily Rose, who I really like. There are all of these young women who are choosing to stay independent longer. Does that allow you to feel like you have maybe more control in this industry where you can lose control really quickly?
Yeah, I think I have more control over what matters in the sense of like my just self choice, like of as what I want to represent as an artist and how I want to look and what I get to put out in the songs that I have. Um, it's just a business, you know, like it
Mhm.
really is. And it's like if I was a perfume or something, I do want to be in Walmart. You know what I mean? I don't want to be in a boutique on
Mhm.
Main Street. I want to be in Walmart.
Mhm.
And there's only one way to be in Walmart. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of it too is just on what your goals are. There's a lot of people who are okay with, you know, selling out 2,000 seat theaters for the rest of their life, and that would be amazing. And I haven't even done that yet. That would be so cool to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I want to sell at arenas. So
Yeah.
I don't want to be an independent artist. I really do want to do the big thing.
Mhm.
But I want to set the foundation and the bones, right? So I think kind of what you're saying with the grassroots thing is I think that's what we're trying to do now. Is
Yeah.
we're trying to really set it to where we have a little more say when we get to go and do that. But yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, right now, if I wanted to drop a song tomorrow, I could drop a song tomorrow right now. And that's the coolest thing on the planet. Whereas if I was to
Yeah.
sign a deal, maybe they give me one single every year, and I can't
Right.
do anything about that until my term's out. So I think it's all about what you want to do. And fortunately, unfortunately, I want to be in Walmart, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there will be a day when we cross over there, but right now we are growing our independent world as big as we can, hoping that we get to merge with that big commercial world.
Yeah. Well, and I love that you're coming into this with some strategy and some real thought about how do I build a long-term career? How do I make the music I want to make? A lot of, and I think that VH1 behind the music has helped a lot with like young artists realizing maybe the worst thing is to sign with a label when I'm 17 and they
Yeah,
take over my life. And so
yeah,
like people now have, I think, more sort of thought and education and are able to plan more. And I love that it seems like you're really doing that. And even with what kind of music you're putting out, right? Like this is something that's more me for the fans, or this is something that maybe will help me bring
yeah,
in more
yeah.
listeners. So how do you build the team and the knowledge that helps you figure out how to even start. Like for that 14-year-old girl who is like, well, I think I want to be an artist. Like how do you even begin that process?
Um, Failure. You know what I mean? We all hate to hear it, but over and over and over and over again. You just mess up. You
Yeah.
just mess up as much as you can. You know what I mean? And obviously you do it with good intention, and you do it with or you don't want to get yourself in a bind or a trouble or anything like that. And I think that's why again that independent world is so good. Like that's your place to do it. Like when I'm my CEO right now and like own my LLC, like now is the time to try things. It's not when you're signed under the man. But I have a manager. Her name is Bev, and she runs everything that we do. And it's just the two of us. So that's our
And
team
she's
is
so
Bev and
nice. I
I.
really like her.
Bev is fantastic.
Yeah,
Thank
she's
you.
great.
Thank you. Bev was wonderful. Bev gave me my first show when I came to Nashville. I was
Oh.
17 and she gave me my first show, and she was like, and she was working just in publicity at the time for the showcase. And she asked me, she was like, hey, I would love to represent you. And I said, hey, I've got to deal with my parents. They're huge on education. I have to get my degree. So I'm going to spend the next couple of years doing that. And after that, I would, if I need representation, I would love it. And I never thought too much about it. And Bev went on her way and I went on mine. And I think it was just a couple weeks after graduation, 4 years later, I got an email from Bev. She was like, you ready? And I said, let's do this. I said, let's go. I said, let's
That's
go. So
awesome.
Bev and I have been together since 2018, 2019. And we have failed
Mm-hmm.
1,800 times. You know what I mean? And we've grown and we've tried things, and especially with this industry with AI coming in. I mean, AI is huge for everybody right now, but it's been a
Mm-hmm.
conversation in our lives for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
show has been like, how can we enhance this digitally, especially when 2020 was happening? You know what I mean? So you just find people that you love, and really you find people that are willing to fail with you, and you find people who are willing to support you when you fail. I think that's the biggest thing. It's like
Yes.
anything that's never gone right for Bev and I have never turned on each other, right? We've never had that moment where it was one of our faults, or something like that. So I think you find people that you can fail with, and you find people who are willing to embarrass themselves and
Mm-hmm.
post silly stuff to see how it works, you know what I mean,
Yep.
and see how it doesn't work. And you find people that when you feel dumb, you can look at them and they're like, we can't change how you feel, but we feel dumb too. Like we got this. We feel
Yeah.
dumb too.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
That's amazing. All right, so let's talk musical inspirations. Besides Evanescence and 3 Days Grace, who are your inspirations from the past, and who are you loving right now?
Um, as a incredibly privileged family growing up in the South, white kid, I never had trouble with representation as a kid. You know what I mean? That was never a thing for me. The Disney princesses looked like me. I said, hell yeah. Um, it wasn't until so I started getting my sleeves and my tattoos and everything done as soon as I turned 18.
Oh wow.
And the
Very
moment that
young.
I saw, yeah, the moment that I saw Ashley McBryde, I thought there's a place for me in country music because I wasn't sure,
Yeah.
because I've always wanted to do country music, but I've always known what I wanted to look like. You know what I mean? I mean, I saw Betty Boop as a kid. Are you kidding? I said, I want to look like that. That's crazy. I've loved tattoos since I was really little.
You have
And
a
so when
song
I
called
saw,
Tattoos.
mm-hmm,
I
and we
like
had
the
to we had to
reference.
spend years writing that because everyone would bring us tattoo song ideas, and they were all awful. They were all about my heart being on my sleeve and everything like that. And I was like, "Shut up! Show me a guy covered in tattoos. That's what I want to write about." But yeah, so Ashley McBryde, sonically
Hmm.
also, her,
Hmm.
because she does her version of country music. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing
Yeah.
commercial
Yeah.
country about what she does, but she does
Hmm.
what she does, and that's the coolest thing on the planet. And then going back to when I was a kid, I mean, Jodie Messina ran my world, and Jamie O'Neill
I
and
love
Trisha
Jodie
Yearwood,
Messina.
and I was a big Cher kid. I loved Cher and Michael Jackson. My mom and I really just listened to Cher and Michael Jackson, um, and just loved that stuff. But the country narratives, it's like Randy Travis was telling stories that you could color like it was a coloring book. You know what I mean? And Keith Whitley was too. And you had all of this country music that was coming out that was talking about stuff that nobody wanted to talk about. You know what I mean? Like they were all talking about all of these like faux pas and culture, but you could sing about them. You know what I mean? And so it was just that was kind of my world of country music that I grew up in that I loved the most.
Hmm.
And I'm a Disney Channel kid, right? So
Yeah.
all of the things, Camp Rock, Demi Lovato, all of those things, like absolutely loved it. I thought Lindsay
Oh,
Lohan was one of the greatest artists we had growing up. I was like,
you know
Lindsay
what?
Lohan's a
She
great
could have
artist.
been. It's not too late. It's not too late for Lindsay, I believe.
It's not too late, and she's came back 12 times stronger than she ever
Yes.
has too. She's looking
Yes. She
fantastic.
looks great.
I'm
Yeah, I know.
happy
She made
for
me think
all of
like,
that evolution too.
do I want a
That was
ponytail
cool.
facelift? Because Lindsay looks really good.
Lindsay looks so
She looks
good, and she
amazing.
looks healthy, and she
Yes,
looks
and
happy.
happy.
And I'm like, girl,
Yes,
if
thank
you're
God.
fooling us, you're fooling all of us because you look
Right.
happy, and I'm happy
Yes.
about that.
So who are
Mhm.
the artists, sort of your peer artists who are out right now who you are really loving?
My peer artist, so my best friend, her name is Carly Rogers, and she does music, and I love it. And we've written
Mm,
together and we've performed together. Carter Winter is my favorite vocal in Nashville. He's fantastic. We have a duet out together called Love Like I Drink that is creeping towards about 10 million streams, and that's the coolest thing I've ever
yes.
done. And
That's
I'm
amazing.
so proud of him and what he's done. And um, Emma Zink is a really good friend of mine out here in Nashville. So we're all really good friends. And then we're all really proud of getting to see what, Priscilla's done, especially Priscilla Block going into this new album that she's putting out now. It's like, I've just always been a fan of Priscilla. I wouldn't say that I'm like one of those personal friends of Priscilla. But I love them. I love what they're doing. I love Kaylee Hammock. I love what Royal Lynn has created over there in her spooky metal world is crazy. Coming watching her do her thing. Taylor Acorn is, I think, the coolest thing that's happened in like alt pop music in a long time for females. And they're all just my friends, and they're all just people that I've gotten to also fail with and see fail, and have encouraged me in ways. And so I just love them. I love seeing what's happening with Ella Langley right now, and like um, her representation coming out, kind of thing. So I don't know. I think there's a lot of cool stuff happening in country music right now, and in the country pop world too, with the crossovers. I think it's all very cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I'm not mad about none of it. I don't know. People
Yeah.
be getting mad about it lately. What kind of energy do you guys have just in reserve? That's crazy. I'm not mad at nobody.
Country music fans have a lot of opinions. Like they're really possibly
Jesus.
the most opinionated fans in music.
Oh my
They
gosh.
feel
And
strongly.
the least like to go out and try something new, people also. It's like, why are you guys just mad at people for doing what you don't ever do? Like, be quiet.
I
Sing
mean that
along
Venn
a little
diagram is a
more.
circle.
Man, it it is. It is a circle. And you are in it or you are out of it, and that is it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so
That's
one of the
crazy.
things that sounds cool and that I think you sort of fantasize about being a songwriter in Nashville and like there's all these songwriting friends and whatever, but you really have that community. And it feels like Nashville and being there is a big part of your musical life and growth. Is that true? That's what it sounds like, is that this is such a big part of
It's
your life and your career?
It's absolutely what it is. And I mean, and for anyone who, has their niche thing that they do, as cool as music is, like to everybody, it is, there was nothing cool about being the music kid in your hometown when you were growing up. No one
Mhm.
thought you were cool. Everyone thought you were like that weird show tunes guy or something. You know what I mean? Like, no one thought you were cool. No one thought Morgan Wallen in eighth, I don't know if in eighth grade he was like, I want to sing, but I bet he was made fun of. You know what I mean? And now he's like the man of the man. So a
Yeah.
lot of it
Yeah.
doesn't translate it in the cool way that people think it is. And I think that's why the community's so tight. Like we were just all bullied growing up, like everyone was, especially nowadays. I mean, bullies were bullied. They're bullies because they were bullied. Like it's just this horrible cycle. But the community in Nashville is crazy. And it really is just like the studies show from high school. Like the most popular kid was the kid who was the most people's friend.
Mhm.
Not the kid who has the most friends, but the kid who is the most people's friends in the sense of just like showing up. So like if you're going to come here and like you really do show up at everybody's rounds and everybody's shows and like you show up for everybody, like that's when you start selling tickets as an artist. You know what I mean? Like this community really does go way back and like they remember. Like everyone that comes to my shows remembers every show that I've been to of theirs and that's why they're at mine. You know what I mean? Like so
Yeah.
it is a community, but it's not an effortless community. Like we're all working hard to be in each other's lives and to be a part of
Mhm.
everybody's stories and to be involved and we know what that takes and we all also have the craziest social anxiety which is so dumb like musicians all can't look you in the eye when they talk to you. It's the dumbest thing. And so it's like we're just this community of like just misfits that get attention, which is the
Yeah.
craziest mixture.
Yeah. I mean, I love that you
Yeah.
say this. I feel like a theme with the conversations I've been having lately, and even in actually just read an article, is like, if I was a person who was good at making reels, I'd make a reel about this. Is that we're all, I think there was this sort of COVID moment when everyone was about like, I'm protecting my peace and I just want to cancel plans and blah, blah, blah. And now there's this constant conversation happening again around like, no, like friendship takes work and community takes work and you have to show
Right. Like,
up.
hey, let's normalize going out when we don't
Yes.
want to.
Right, right. Let's normalize like showing up for birthday parties,
Yes.
showing up for someone's shows,
Yeah.
putting our phones away and actually seeing each other in person. But, you know, like you said, but that takes work that
It
I think
does.
we're, particularly for younger generations, like are having to learn now. Like you can protect your
Right.
peace so much that you end up in a loneliness epidemic.
Right. Well, and I don't think anyone knows how to argue anymore either. So
Yeah.
all of them, my strongest relationships all come out of mending arguments. You know what I mean? Like they all do. Like just working through that and like learning how to communicate with each other when you can't even find the page that you're on. You're like, you are not wrong and I'm not wrong, but I'm right. I'm definitely right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not wrong, but I'm definitely right. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like it's we don't have now you can just find there's just another friend to look at. You know what I mean? You have an argument with this one, you just go over to this friend group, or you go over to this page, you just scroll past this artist, or you
Yeah.
unfollow them, or you block
Yeah.
them, and you never deal with it again. And there is something so cool. It's just like how we've romanticized. It's just like how our generation really romanticized love. Like we thought that like a soulmate was a thing, and I'm not saying that it's not, but a soulmate's a thing if you make it a thing. If you choose somebody for the rest of your life, that is your soulmate. It's not like you have this, zing or this connection or something. You know what I mean? It's like you just choose somebody
Mhm.
and you never not choose them. No matter what, you don't not choose them, and that's how that works. So it's like I think you're exactly right. It's been cool to see everybody kind of shift back more towards like this is intentional and it's a
Yeah.
choice.
Yeah.
But don't ever forget, you guys. This is the one thing I will die on this hill. You can go home. Show up. It's not
Yep.
that hard. Show up. You can walk into my party, turn around, and get back in your car and go home. And I'll
Yes.
be like,
Yes.
they showed up. If
Yep.
that creeping little gross feeling didn't leave when you walked in my house, you get back in your car, you go home. I do not expect you to stay. That's fine. You know what I mean? It's not even like
That's great.
yeah, it's not like, oh, you have social anxiety and you're looking at the next night in a 12-hour span. Look at it in like 30-minute increments. Like,
Yeah.
how can you show up?
Yeah.
But still show up.
Yeah.
You don't have to stay.
When I still am, but when I was in my 20s, I was the queen of the Irish exit because I've always liked going to bed early. When I was from the day I was born, I would go to sleep at 8 p.m. and wake up at 8 a.m. like as a baby. I like go to bed early, but
Yeah.
people would
Yeah.
have things. And so I would go, like I hated the club, even as a young person.
Yeah.
I hated the club, but I would
Hmm.
go. I'd talk to everyone for a few seconds. I'd make sure all my friends were okay, and then they'd see me the next day in class. Like
Yeah.
I would be out, but but I would show up, so people would know I was there. But then it's like
Yeah.
it is 9:45. I got to be in bed in 15 minutes. But
It
it's
might be
about being there.
9:45, Kat, but it's also 2025, okay? So you text me that You better you better hit me with that peace sign emoji when you do Irish goodbye me because otherwise I am knocking down every stall door in Nashville
That's fair. You know what?
looking for
That's fair.
you in a bathroom somewhere unalived. You know what I mean? Like
That's fair.
you hit me with that bye bitch, okay? But you do not just leave, okay?
You
You
know what?
can't do
True
that.
crime girlies. That actually is good
Mhm.
advice. I'm going to start doing that. I will.
Yeah,
Because people are
I'm
always
the
like,
queen of
text me when
Irish
you get
goodbye.
home.
I am also the queen of a good night text. I am in
I'm
bed.
going to
Goodbye,
start
you
doing that.
guys. Yes.
All right.
Please,
I'm going to
please, please. For
incorporate that
everyone who
into
Irish
my
goodbyes, just
Irish
let
goodbye
somebody
routine.
know.
Yes.
Yes.
That is 100% fair.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for
Yeah.
that life-changing advice for
Yes.
my friends to worry
Yes.
about me, not for me.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
what's coming next for you? Everyone now listening is a fan. I'm obviously a huge fan. Where can people find you? What should we be looking out for?
Well, with it being Halloween, you can find me on a cruise. I'm on a
Yay.
cruise right now if it's Halloween, which I'm so excited. I get to play my first, I was like hired as a musician for my first cruise this year. So I'm
No
on
way.
Halloween.
Oh, that's so
Yeah.
exciting.
On Halloween, I got
Congrats.
to pick a costume for anyone who bought a ticket, like under my name kind of thing, to come on.
Really?
So if you've ever been on a cruise and just saw like 50 ostrich come at you, that's what's gonna be happening because that's the costume I chose. You
That's
can cover
amazing.
yourself in like ripped up trash bags, and then you just bend over river and you go like this and like you're a whole flock of ostrich. It's like the greatest thing you've ever seen.
All right, I will
So
be
that's
looking
what's
for
next for
those
me. Look
pictures
it
on
up, you
Instagram.
guys. Don't miss it. But we're just all that to say for the rest of the year, guys. We're just doing our best as we
Yeah.
started off the year doing. We're doing our best. Feel free to follow along. Please follow me on Instagram, you guys. It's where I'm kind of like the most personal. I work really hard to make that really personal. I do be posting on TikTok and shorts and all the other things out there. So please, please give me your soul. I would really appreciate it. But just follow along, you guys, and thank you. Thank you for allowing me some time on your platform. I really appreciate it.
I'm so grateful that you showed up, that you're making this incredible music. I'm thrilled. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Of course. Thank you.
Thanks for joining. I hope that you are now a fan of Allie Colleen. I know I certainly am. I listen to Halos and Horns all of the time. Don't forget to click all the links to see her below, share this episode, like, subscribe, all the things, and have a great Halloween.